Hello, grade nines. How are you today? Welcome back again to another lesson for social sciences. I hope you are all good. So today is the last day that we are going to focus on World War II. And then next week we are going to be doing geography. Are you all good today? Grade nines, are you fine? Okay. I can see you're quiet, or maybe, okay. Let me see this one. Okay, so our objective for today's lesson, we're going to look at the outbreak of World War II in the Pacific Ocean. What was happening during the World War II in the Pacific Ocean. Just a quick recap of previous lesson for yesterday. Remember, we looked at World War II in Europe, and we also looked at those 5 subtopics from yesterday. And then we want to revise the previous activity that I gave you yesterday. Did you write your homework? Grade 9s, did you write your homework? Did you write your homework, grade 9s? Okay, let's move on. So we're going to start with question 1. Define the following words. A, reparation. What is reparation? The payment that the Germans had to pay to the Allied powers for their loss during World War I. It's called reparation. So just correct your work if your answer is not similar to this. And then B, coalition government. It's a government that is controlled by more than one party. Yes, Nosipo? Just type your question or your input, Nosipo. I got the same answer as Tando. The action of making amends for a wrong one. Okay, all right. That's from Nosipo. Okay, that's good. And then coalition government. Which answers did you come up with? From Tando, is a form of government in which political parties cooperate, reducing the dominance of any one party within that coalition. Oh, that's very good, Tando. So just correct your work if it is wrong. Just a few more seconds for you to correct your work, and then we move on. Okay, I hope everyone is fine now. We go to question 2. Explain what the final solution was and how it resulted in the Holocaust. So you were supposed to write something like, the final solution was a plan to exterminate all Jewish people. From Tando, the final solution was used by Nazi Germany's leaders, which referred to the mass murder of Europe's Jews. It resulted to Holocaust. That's good, Tando. Good answer. So from Nosipo, final solution is a plan for the systemic killing of Jews. That's good. So make sure you correct your work, others. If you got it wrong, okay, on Kabete, it's fine. You're welcome. We are just revising the previous activity. We are on question 2 on Kabete. So just correct your work, question 2. Okay, and then we go to question 3. Mention any 4 causes of World War II. So you were supposed to mention any 4 causes. Which ones did you come up with? Your answers. What did you come up with? Any 4 causes that caused World War II? From Nosipo, economic depression, failure of appeasement, rise of militarism, failure of the League of Nations. That's very good, Nosipo. From Tando, failure of appeasement, the rise of militarism, the failure of the League of Nations, the impact of Treaty of Versailles. That's good. I can see you did your homework. That's very good. Keep it up, grade 9. So just make corrections. A few more seconds. Yes, mid-mix, I'm here. I'm just waiting for you. Okay, let's move on. I hope you are done with corrections. Okay, and then I gave you key terms to research. Let's go through them. We're going to look at the Geneva Convention. What was the Geneva Convention? Which answers did you get for Geneva Convention? So these were agreements negotiated after World War II that established human rules of law. So just correct your work if maybe you got it wrong. Nosipo. Yes, Nosipo.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you very much, ma'am. So my answer for the first key term is a series of international diplomatic meetings that produced a number of agreements in a particular humanitarian law of armed conflicts.
Oh, that's very good. So that's the Geneva Convention. Thank you,
Yes,
Nosipo. Yes, it's correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, others, I hope you're correcting your work. Okay, and then we go to internment camps. What were internment camps? These were camps where Japanese Americans were forcibly moved. So the Japanese Americans who were captured, they were moved to internment camps. And what are sanctions? Sanctions, it's a penalty that is given to a certain country for disobeying a law or rule. We call them sanctions. And then we go to the last term, tripartite pact. The Axis alliance signed by Germany, Japan, and Italy to formalize their alliance. So just correct your work. Okay, Nosipo.
Ma'am,
Yes,
for the last key term, it's a defense alliance between the countries and was largely intended to deter the United States from entering the conflict.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good, Nosipo. Onkabese?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I'm correct, but I wrote it was also known as the Three Power Pact that was signed in Berlin, Germany on September 27, 1990, which set up the Axis power of World War II. I'm not sure if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's correct. That's very correct. Thank you, Onkabese. Tando, let me check your answers. Okay. Geneva Conventions, the establishment of international law for humanitarian treatment in war. That's good. Let me check your other answers from Tando. Internment camps, a prison camp for the confinement of enemy aliens, prisoners of war, political prisoners. Okay, that's good, Tando. Sanctions, a threatened penalty of disobeying a law or rule. That's very correct. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so for today, we are looking at World War II in the Pacific. We are done with the one that was happening in Europe. Now we are looking at the war that was happening in the Pacific Ocean. So we've got only one subtopic, America in the war versus Japan, Pearl Harbor. So we're going to look at that. So what was happening in the Pacific? Remember, at the same time, there was a war in Europe. So what was happening in the Pacific Ocean? Japan wanted to increase its military power all over the Far East. Its navy was bigger than that of Britain, France, and USA. And it is said that their navy or their army was bigger than those three countries combined, the one for Japan. Can you imagine? So it had a big navy. In 1931, Japan invaded China, which resulted in USA to place sanctions against Japan because USA had economic interest in China. So what was happening here is simply that Japan was interested in taking over China, whereas United States also had economic interests in China. So that led to the war in the Pacific between USA and China and Japan. Sorry, they wanted to take China. Therefore, it increased tensions between Japan and USA. In 1941, the Japanese attacked the Pearl Harbor, where the American naval fleet was. So the American ship, the Navy ship, it was, let me just, so the American Navy ship, it was at Pearl Harbor in the Pacific. So the Japanese, they attacked this American ship. And then USA was very angry. USA now had to fight on two fronts, both in Europe and the Pacific. So it was hectic for United States. In this picture, you can see, I put the picture of the attack on Pearl Harbor. So that's when Japan attacked the American ship. So this is the picture. And then we look at Japanese Americans forced into US internment camps. So remember, Japan had attacked USA in the Pacific. Now, the Japanese who were living in the United States were under pressure, were being attacked and being captured. So the Americans were angry because their army was attacked in the Pacific by Japan. So Japanese people were now being on attack. They were being captured in America. So they were sent to the camps known as the internment camps. So this picture is showing the barracks where they lived in those camps. And it is said that the life was very hard in these camps. It was very hard. They had to do hard labor and they were treated badly in a harsh way. So this picture is just showing those camps, the barracks. They were called barracks in those camps. So that's where the Japanese Americans were taken to by the Americans. And then on this slide, we can see the map with, if you can, okay, this red part, you can see Japan is here. So this is the Pacific Ocean. Here is Japan. So Japan wanted to take these countries. It wanted to expand its territory. So all of these that are in red, it wanted to take those countries. So Japanese soldiers, they committed many atrocities in China. If I may ask, what is atrocities? Have you ever heard of the word atrocities? What does it mean? What do you understand by the word atrocities? Any answer? Being mean from Onkabete. Okay, that's good. An extremely wicked or cruel act, typically one involving physical violence or injury. That's very good. Or extremely cruel from Onkabete. Okay. So atrocities is simply means to treat someone in a violent way. So Japanese soldiers, they committed those atrocities in China. It was very bad. You can see from this picture, you can see that Japanese soldier here. And these bodies, these are dead bodies of the Chinese people. Just look at it. It's very bad. It was so sad. So you can see World War II was terrible. Many people died. It was very sad, both in Europe and in the Pacific. All of these, they are dead people here. I can see an answer here. Let me see. Ma'am, these pictures, hi. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to know. They are terrible, I know, from Nosipo. Okay, and then we look at Japanese prisoner of war camps for Allied soldiers. So the Japanese prisoner of war camps. These camps, what was happening is the Japanese soldiers, they were also creating what? Prison camps for the Allied soldiers they captured. They punished the prisoners in a harsh manner. These camps were fenced with barbed wire, and those who escaped would be executed in front of other prisoners. Imagine, it was very bad. Thousands of captured Allied soldiers died of hunger and other abuses on the long marches to the camps. So other soldiers, they did not survive what was happening to them. It was very bad. So remember the Allied powers. You remember the Allied powers? So their soldiers were being captured by Japan Let me see. I've got sad story from Mad Max. Yes, it's very sad. Here, there's a picture of the prisoners who were captured by the Japanese. Can you see? They are very thin because of hunger. Anorexia, yes, onkabetse. It was very bad. Others, they didn't survive at all. They died. So these people, they were taken to the prisoner of war camps. So these were Allied soldiers who were captured. And then we come to the end of World War II. So the war in Europe ended on 8 May 1945 when Nazi Germany surrendered, but the Pacific War was still continuing. Japan refused to surrender, and this led to United States dropping 2 bombs over Japan. So United States were very angry because Japan, they didn't want to surrender at all. So United States, they dropped 2 bombs over Japan. Remember, the first one was attacked on Hiroshima City on the 6th of August, 1945. And then the second one was dropped at Nagasaki on the 9th of August. Both cities were destroyed and many people died. After the second bombing, Japan surrendered to the Allies. Finally, World War II came to an end. So that is how World War II came to an end. So Japan finally surrendered, and it was finally over. You can see this is the picture that I got for the smoke of the Hiroshima bomb. It's showing the smoke after the Hiroshima bomb. Okay. Okay, so we've come to the end of the lesson. We're done with World War II. The topic for today was just brief. There wasn't much. So I have an activity. Let me just share the activity for you. This is the homework for today. Write a paragraph on each of the following topics. A, so you just write short paragraph, maybe about 5 lines. The treatment, A, the treatment of the American Japanese after the Pearl Harbor attacks. So just write a paragraph about that. B, the Japanese abuse of human rights during their expansion in the Pacific. C, the treatment of prisoners of war in Japanese camps. So that is your homework, those 3 questions. No, it's your homework. So I'm just going to leave it on the screen for a few minutes. If you're writing down, you can write. Are there any questions? If you've got questions for the topic that we did this week. So remember, next week we'll be doing geography. Just let me know when you're done copying the questions. Okay, Tando. I'm just waiting for others to finish copying, and then I'll go back to the slide. Okay, Onkabetse, you're done. That's good. Tando, are you done with this activity? Before I go back to the slide, as you requested. Nosipo, done. That's good. Yes, ma'am. Tando, okay. Okay. Yeah, it is Tando. End of World War II. Is that the correct slide you requested? Okay. So grade 9, it was very nice doing history with you guys this week. I was just refreshing your memory on World War II. Okay, so is everyone done? We're sorted? You have the activity with you, the homework? So we can end the lesson now. Is it fine? So I will see you next week, guys, same time. Be safe, take care. From Onkabetse, are we going to do apartheid next? Yes, I think so, for history, yes. We're going to look at South African history. If there are no other questions, we can end the lesson. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.